Hey guys, it's Keisha Nicole. So I love this new music that I have for Side Talk. It just makes you feel so good, right? Happy, like turning up. All right, guys, so welcome to another episode of Side Talk. And today I am releasing a pre-recorded episode that I did with Jay Blessed. She is a fellow podcaster. She has a podcast called In My Head. It's really focused around mental health, specifically in the Caribbean community, but it's not just, for the Caribbean community. It's for everyone and anyone who has ever struggled with mental health and is either still there or has, grown from it, or, any kind of struggles that you face, you need support. It's an amazing podcast to listen to. So she came on the show and we did a podcast on relationships. And I thought this was the perfect time to release this podcast because I feel like when you go into a new year, it's a great time to kind of take inventory of your life and look at your relationships and all of the things that are going on in your life and figure out what needs to go with you into the new year and what needs to stay behind. So this podcast is focused on all types of relationships, love relationships with significant others, friendships, with your friends, girlfriends, guy friends, whatever you have going on. And we just really touch on having healthy relationships. Well, actually, we focus on healthy relationships, how to have them, how to maintain them, how to detect when you're not in a healthy relationship and what you should do about that. I think a lot of us allow people to abuse us from time to time. And it's really important that you pay attention to that stuff because that is not good for your mental health, right? And in order for us to have productive and happy lives, we really have to pay attention to our mental health. And having negative relationships, it definitely takes up space in your mind, and that can contribute to, stress, emotional, mental breakdowns, depression, all types of things. So it's very important. Don't think that a friendship does not affect your mental health, especially if it's not healthy. All relationships affect your mental health one way or the other. So please listen to this episode. Let me know what you think. It's one of my favorite episodes. I've only done 3 episodes of Side Talk, but this is my favorite so far. Jay touched on a lot of different areas that really resonated with me. The way she broke things down, the way she talked about, how people can be and what they do and what they don't do. I mean, it was just spot on for me. I have experienced those things in my life, and I really enjoyed having her on the podcast. She was a good time and she's very knowledgeable, and I just love her delivery. And I love that she's not afraid to be who she is, and that she just really tells it like it is. That's my kind of girl. And that's what I loved about her, and that's what I love about her podcast. So I hope you guys enjoy this episode as much as I enjoyed putting it together for you. Please know that we are not judging. We are just pointing out things and bringing them to the surface with the hopes that we will all, take this information, apply it where it's applicable, and work on yourselves. I'm constantly working on myself. My goal is always to be a better Keisha, a better friend, a better mother, a better employee, a better podcaster, everything, right? I look at myself. I look at, what I've done and what I want to do. And that's where I keep my focus. I really don't focus too much on what other people are doing because I really try to stay in my lane and just know that what God has for me, it's for me, and I need to focus on me. And being a better me means, paying attention to all these areas of my life and doing the work where it's necessary. And I feel like a lot of people don't want to do the work because they're lazy. It's hard. They'd rather just live this fictitious life and stay in a place of, pretend. That's not healthy for you, and it's not healthy for anyone else. So I hope that this episode resonates with you, and I hope that it motivates you to take a deep dive, look at yourself. You can start small and work on one little area at a time. I'm telling you, you will feel so much better when you dig deep, figure out what you need to figure out, and move forward. It's a great feeling. So I hope that you all go into the new year with some new perspective. And I hope that you take inventory of your relationships and get rid of the relationships that are not serving you well and hold on to the ones that are. Thank you guys for listening to this podcast, and thank you for your continued support. For all of my supporters who listen faithfully to the Oh Hell No podcast, this podcast, Side Talk, is for you guys. I don't publish it anywhere else. It's only published here. So you have to be like a regular listener to get this podcast. And I think I'm going to keep it like that. So I hope you enjoy it. Have a happy and blessed new year. And I will catch up with you guys in the new year. Hey everyone, welcome to Side Talk. This is probably my second episode, and today I am here with Jay Blessed, and I'm so excited to have her. She is a fellow podcaster and a blogger. And I discovered her podcast actually looking in the Caribbean podcast directory. I found it there and I started listening to her podcast and I fell in love with it. It's called In My Head Podcast. So welcome, Jay Bless. Thank you for being here with me.
Hey, thank you so much, Kay. How are you feeling?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm just excited to talk to you, girl, because, you do all those amazing episodes about, mental health and just talking to people about different life experiences. And I can't wait for us to do a little bit of that on this episode today.
Thank you. I'm honored that you had me on. It's just so funny that the way you found me, which is so crazy. Um, Caribbean what? Caribbean podcast directory.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so weird that you would find me in a place like that where people who don't even like me. So this is
Really?
funny to me.
Oh my
Dead ass.
God. That is crazy. Girl, this
Yeah, and so if you're going to talk about relationships, let's talk about that because some people just promote you just to say that they promoted you, but they really don't care about you or like you or mean you well. So, yeah, no.
Wow, this is the perfect segue into my episode. So, first
Yeah.
of
So
all,
it's going to be 100% real, right?
yeah,
Okay.
no, that's what I love about you. You keep it 100. I love that. On your podcast, it's like it's you. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I connected with. So, the first thing is I just want you to tell us a little bit about you. Just like, when you started your podcast, what made you start the podcast? First of all, tell us what island you rep because you are a Caribbean woman. So, I love bigging up my Caribbean women. So, please, where you from?
Born and raised in Trinidad,
Yes,
came to the
girl.
US at 18 with $75 and nowhere to go some years ago. And yeah, I've been in media kind of like 2 years after I came to this country, but I was trained to be a broadcaster at the age of 16 back home in Trinidad
Mm-hmm.
by one of our legends, Edison Carr. And that's always been a passion for me. I'm a storyteller. I love people, but I'm a real person. So all that is kind of interwoven into every aspect of my life and the career path that I've chosen, which is media marketing and hospitality, which all interact with people, which all deal with people on an emotional level, right? What are the stories you're telling and how you're marketing these stories to get to people's heartstrings or to compel them to buy? And then in terms of hospitality, how do you make them feel? from the time they enter a space to the time they leave. And all of those skill sets are interwoven into really who I am. Intuitively, I'm a caring and loving person. I'm a Libra, so shout out to all the Libras out there.
Oh my
we,
God. I love
we try to find
Libras.
balance.
Yes, my daughter's a Libra. I love Libras. That
Yeah, we try to find balance, which is like we will love upon you and love you so passionately, sometimes to the detriment of us, but then mess around. You don't want to mess around. It's
yeah.
better to have us as a best friend
Yeah, that's
than a worst enemy.
yes, I
Shucks.
agree.
So my podcast started back in May 2019. So yeah, it's pretty young. And so far, we've been featured 3 times in the New York Daily News. I've received an award, a Caribbean Impact Award from Caribbean Life News, another award to add. We've hit like close to 10,000 downloads, which is still little in comparison to major podcasts, but this is a very niche market, which is for me the Caribbean podcasting market and the Caribbean mental health market. Is a niche in a niche. So for us to hit those numbers at such a very infancy stage is amazing. So when I got my first 100 downloads, I was popping champagne. Like you can't tell me nothing. A
Right.
hundred 100 people loved my shit. And I try to celebrate the little things. So I pray that by the time this is over, people will, celebrate the little things about them.
Yes, girl, please. That is amazing because I've had my podcast for like maybe 4 years, and I'm just doing like 20,000 downloads. So for you to be 6 months in and 10,000, that is amazing. And congratulations on all your awards because
Thank you.
it's no joke trying to like, create content that is useful and not the foolishness that you hear out there all the time with the gossip and the celebrity this and that. You're doing something that's really making a difference in people's lives. And I just think when we do things like that, it's just harder for us to really get traction, especially when we don't have like some type of fame or something that can just throw you into, I don't know, success where everybody's just downloading and picking up on your stuff. So please, girl, congratulations. That's amazing.
Thank you. And for a podcast, it's because people are specifically subscribing or really want to hear the content that you're providing. It's not like they're scrolling through Insta, just happen to, see your post or happen to see it on the explore page or their phone. You literally have to be dedicated to this person's platform to go listen to it every single week. So
Yeah.
that means a lot.
Yup, I read something that said it's not the quantity of downloads. No, no, yeah, it's the quality, like, or something like that. Like, if you get one download consistently, like, that is more important than 10, like, maybe downloads that are not consistent because that one person that keeps coming back, that means that they
Yes,
want to listen.
it's like your regulars, like from a
Right.
hospitality perspective, your bread and butter really are your regulars. Those people that come once a week or 2 times a week. Those are the people you really need to pay special attention to. Not saying that the person that comes for the first time you don't, but they're coming for their own particular reason. They heard about it, they came through once and they might never come back. But your regulars, they're the ones that
Right.
really support your brand.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So today I wanted to just talk about healthy relationships, right? And that covers friendships, love relationships, all of those things. And I just wanted to have like just a very organic conversation about healthy relationships. And let me just say a healthy relationship by definition is when two people develop a connection based on mutual respect, trust, honesty, and support, right? So I wanted to ask you, what do you think is important to having a healthy relationship? Period. Just a relationship. It could be with a friend or a man or a woman, whatever.
I think for any relationship to be successful and to be healthy, there needs to be effective, honest communication.
Yeah.
And I use the word effective and I use the other word honest because a lot of people are not effective when they communicate. They shut down, they withdraw, and I mean, if you're not talking to yourself, you're talking with someone else or to someone else. And honest, a lot of people are not even honest with themselves. So how do you expect them to be honest with you? Right?
Mm.
So effective and honest communication means that even when I don't want to tell you because I'm ashamed, or even when I don't want to tell you because I don't want to hurt your feelings, we need to discuss this in order for us to thrive in a healthy relationship. And even when I don't want to talk to you because I'd rather go into my cocoon or take a couple of days, I know you might need to hear a word from me today to help ease your spirit or your heart. And so I'm not going to string you along or have you festering in feelings, unaware or unsure of how I feel, where my mind is at. I would, a healthy or effective relationship would say, okay, let's talk about this today, or can we come back when we both have a clear mind? And when would that work for you? I think a lot of times people are so selfish
Mm.
in relationships that it's all about them and how they feel, what they want, and when it's right for them, forgetting to take into consideration that they're in a partnership, whether in a monogamous or platonic or agape or eros type relationship. It doesn't really matter. It's not just you. Even as a parent, right? Like having healthy relationships with your kids, like they have feelings too. As much as you are, or hopefully, a benevolent dictator in your household, they also have feelings. That they have a voice. They are conflicted when you act a certain way, when you withdraw. It affects them. So honest and effective communication, that's the number one pillar for me
Yeah, I
in,
agree.
in, in having healthy relationships.
I also think self awareness is important. And
Most definitely.
I have done a lot of episodes where people have talked about self awareness on the Oh Hell No podcast. And just like observing people like that you work with or that you know, it's amazing how many people are not self aware.
And that you hear the first part of that awareness is self. You
Hmm.
can't teach them how to be self-aware. They have
Yeah.
to develop that within themselves. You can give them tools, you can encourage them to open their eyes a bit. But it's like a woman in an abusive relationship that you are telling her until you're blue in her face that man is not good for you. He's unhealthy. This is toxic. She's not going to get that awareness until she gets it within herself. And she's hearing it from everyone around her that this is not healthy. And
Yeah.
it's only until she comes to that conclusion within herself that she can make a change. And so self-awareness really is a personal work. You can advise people, you can talk to them, and again, until you're blue in your face, but that's a personal work.
Yeah, it definitely is. But my thing too is if you have a relationship with someone that's not self-aware, how successful is that relationship going to be? And what do you do? Do you walk away from that relationship because that person just is not they're not aware of who they are and how they affect other people with the way they behave. So the relationship is probably not going to change. Or do you work with them? Like, what do you do?
There are various things you could do depending on what kind of relationship it is and how deep you're in. I will always advocate for therapy. And there are a lot of stubborn people in the Caribbean community, especially stubborn Caribbean men, that
Mm,
don't see the value in therapy because they're stuck in their ways of doing what they say is normal, or that's just me type of lifestyle. And you're trying to bring them to a place of awareness of this is unhealthy, this is toxic, this this is actually dangerous, and I don't like this type of behavior because it affects me in a negative way. It makes me feel less of a person. Or you could tell them, and I've seen many situations like this, and they still don't get it. Right? Sometimes the only time people get shit is when you leave.
yep.
And I'm not advising that you just up and leave your relationship. But if you've told a person once, 3 times, 5 times, 200 times that the thing that they are doing is hurting you, then that person is no longer hurting you. You're just hurting yourself by staying in that type of setting, right? Now is the time where you need to take responsibility for allowing that to happen to you, for allowing you to stay in a situation that you know is not healthy. You know is not, an environment conducive to you being your best or healthiest or even happiest self. So it's no longer that person is doing this to me. It's now you are allowing this to be done to you. So in certain situations, yeah, you got to leave, especially when the person is not making intentional steps to change for the better. There's a difference. I saw the video recently of on the Red Table Talk. I forgot the actor who was on Tommy, and he talked about the difference between forgiveness and atonement.
Mm-hmm.
And someone could say, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and stay going back doing the same shit. But atonement is a change in behavior, right? And I always tell people the realest apology is a change behavior. I don't want to hear I'm sorry. I don't want to hear please forgive me. Show me. And if you've been in a situation where you've been asking someone, or advising someone or showing someone that, they're doing something that's really hurtful to you, and they still haven't changed, or they change for one day and then revert back to doing what seems normal for them, which is maybe abuse, you gotta leave. You have to leave. Listen, talking about self-awareness, you also got to talk about self-preservation. Sometimes we stay in relationships so long that it depletes us, that we start losing ourselves. Like, who am I? Well, you lost your way a long time ago when you decided to stick it out with someone who's not even sticking it out for themselves. They're not even taking the leap on themselves to make a change for themselves. You dare trying to change them and make them better at the expense of yourself.
Yeah,
Come on.
absolutely. Yup. You got to think about yourself and how this is affecting you and draining you. And, if you don't love yourself and take care of yourself, then, you know what I mean? You're going to continue to suffer in a unhealthy relationship.
Yeah.
So I looked up something and it said there are three C's of a healthy relationship, and I love this because I believe in this: communication, compromise, and commitment. Right?
Hmm.
And I think it's like those things are very important to any relationship. So
Right.
I want to explore. Let's talk about friendships. I'm gonna tell you some things that I don't like in friendships, and then I want you to tell us what you don't like in, friendship, things that are like deal breakers for you. So for me,
Hmm.
I don't like frauds. Okay?
Hmm.
Someone who pretends to be one way and then like you said, actions versus words. They say one
Hmm.
thing but they show you something different. Copycats. I can't stand copycats. And I had a conversation with a friend the other day who came over and we were talking. So I used to have this cake lady that made, specialty cakes for me. And she made these cakes, and I used to have them at my parties, but not every party, just like monumental things. I would, go to her and she would make them for me. And everybody be like, oh, the cake is so good. Who made this cake? Blah, blah, blah. And I'd be like, my cake lady. Oh, can I get her number? Hell no, you can't get her number. Oh, why you being like that? Why you don't want to Because it's my cake lady. I don't want nobody messing up my link, and I ain't giving out my cake lady number. People don't even know what I go through to get that cake because she lived all the way out in Connecticut. I used to have to meet her halfway. Like, it was a whole thing, right? But people see you with something and they just want to do it too. There are so many different places where you can get cake. Why you want my cake lady? Why every event you have, we have to have the same damn cake? Why? Right? So they looking at me like I'm crazy, but I believe in that. Why is it that we can't just let people live? Why can't you just come to Keisha's party, eat her cake, and be like, yo, that cake was bomb? And then, maybe for her 45th, she'll have that cake again, and you just find your own thing,
So my my perspective on this is different.
Okay.
Um, but I'm gonna let you finish. I'm a Kanye Westy right now.
Right. Okay. All right. So
Because I mean, is your cake lady a woman of color?
no, she's not. And it was not like somebody who had like a business that she was trying to. She did this in her spare time. She was a nurse. She lived in a
Got
beautiful
it.
house in Connecticut that was paid for. Like, this was not something she was doing to make a living. If it was somebody that was
Got it.
hustling, right? Absolutely. I'm giving the number to everybody. But it wasn't that situation. So
Okay.
also, I can't stand low grade haters. You know what I'm saying? They pretend that they're happy for you. They pretend that they're supportive of you, but on the low, they just sitting in the sidelines hating for no damn reason. Because there's nothing that anybody is doing that you can't do. But find what you love and pursue that. Another thing,
Listen, it doesn't mean that they can't do it. They just can't do it like me.
that's true too. That's true too. But you know what I'm saying? Find your thing though. You know what I'm saying? So my last thing, I got a lot, right? Look, my last thing is selfies, right? The person that is
Selfies.
self-absorbed, like just everything. Oh, woe is me. This is me. This is me. You telling them something and they bring it back to themselves. Like everything is always about them. Like the whole conversation, all the time. There's like it's just them. It's their world. They're by themselves. It's like okay, I'm not even here. I just can't take those type of people. Like it's too much for me. So that is my list. I would love to
Hmm.
hear yours. Or would you
Well,
like
first
to
of all, do you have
comment?
friends?
Yes, I do.
I just want to,
Don't try me,
because
Jay. Don't try me.
no. I'm gonna say this because I'll be okay now. I for my closest friends, I could count on one hand,
Yes.
and that's still a lot, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And I'm okay with that because when you break down this world that we live in, about 90% of people are frauds,
Yep.
and of the remaining 10%, 5% of people are lukewarm about you, so they're only hot for you when you hot, and when you're not hot, then they off the fence, right? So they are just always hanging in the balance and just want to be around when things are good, and just want to be around just to say they know you, but they really don't know you. And of the remaining 5%, maybe most of them are genuine friends, but some of them also have hidden insecurities or hidden envy, or yes, even of the last
Yes.
5%. And
Yes.
so I I have a very handful group of bona fides. And if you've never been to my house, you're not my friend. Like dead ass. Like I just if yeah, no. But when it comes to red flags to me in terms of not engaging in a friendship with someone, I think you hit on a lot of very valid points. My take on them would be totally different when I would describe it, but I trust my intuition, and that's always number one. Caribbean people would say my spirit just don't take she. Well, I don't know. Some of them have some spirits. I don't even want to know what spirit don't take she. And what they mean by that is that they just don't like that person because their spirit is saying that something is wrong. Now, I'm gonna just leave that to the side back because again, I don't know what kind of spirit some people have for them to say this spirit don't take sheep, because I've heard that about myself, and then I look at the person like, well, yeah, I can understand why your spirit don't take me. You got demons in you. I understand it. The Jesus in me threatens the demons in you. I totally get it. Uh, but my intuition has never led me astray. And I've had various situations where my intuition, my gut instincts have told me and shown me and just bring very present to my face that someone was not being honest or truthful. And I have a gift of dreams. And so God speaks to me in my dreams. And sometimes it comes to me in my dreams as clear as day. And I will confront the individual and it's like, okay, so let's talk. Is there anything we need to talk about? Is there anything that you're like, did I do anything wrong? No, you didn't do anything. Okay, so there seems to be a disconnect. And they will deny it.
Oh, girl.
And then they will try to convince you that they're all for you, but your spirit knows that something is wrong. So what I've learned to do over the last couple of years is to always trust my gut. And I
Mhm.
rather trust my gut and be wrong than not trust my gut and I was right. And my gut is always right. And so I rather distance myself, but I give people I leave them with an air of dignity. Like I'm just not going to drop you. I'm not one of those people who ghost people. I don't like that. So I
Mhm.
don't do to people what I wouldn't like to myself.
Right.
I just live by karmic laws, right?
Yeah.
And so I'll let you know, listen, something happened. I don't really like how it made me feel. You're still my friend. I'll always support you, but I just need to keep my distance for a bit.
Mm,
However they may react to it, that's their problem.
right.
I need to protect myself because my gut instinct has told me that you are not 100 with me. And I'm not going to go down this path of finding out what you want 100 with me and cause myself more heartbreak than I'm already feeling. Right.
Girl,
And that goes with any relationship.
you are speaking to my soul right now. Yes. Yes,
And
yes,
it's hard.
yes.
It's hard. But I'd rather you take that L now than invest a lot more years and look down and look back and say, yo, I should have just listened to myself. How many times have people said to themselves, I should have just trust my gut? Trust your
Mm-hmm.
gut now.
Yep.
Trust it now. Your gut is your inner compass of morality and of what is right for you. Your own personal compass is your instinct.
Yep.
If you're not trusting your own highest self, your highest self, how you could trust fucking people? I don't understand this shit. Why are you giving people so much power? You can't even trust yourself. Are you not powerful within yourself? Do you not see that? Do you not see that you're gifted enough to identify what is good and bad for you? So why
Yes.
put so much power in someone else's hands?
Mm, mm. Girl, I hope y'all listening because this is real.
It is.
It is.
It is.
It's
Mm-hmm.
so true. And yes, I have friends, but I don't have a lot of friends because I'm very careful about who I call friend. I don't use that term loosely.
That's
And
perfectly fine.
yeah, because of what you said is true. Like you get burned, you let people in and they're just not honest. They don't know themselves, so how the hell can they treat you right? They don't treat themselves good. It's too much. So I keep myself, at a distance. I know people, I have acquaintances. I'm cool with some people, but I'm close with few. So, absolutely. All right, so let's talk about love, right? I'm talking about with the, like significant other, and nowadays it could be, to women, women, men, men, women, and men, whatever, right? Just love, right? In a relationship,
Intimate partner. Hmm.
right? Intimate partner. So, when I was in my 20s, I was in an unhealthy relationship where I was with somebody who lied, who cheated, who just didn't value me and mistreated me, in all types of way. I wasn't physically abused or anything like that, but there was a lot of mental abuse with the lies and the, all of the things that he did. And when I finally left that relationship, it taught me so much because I realized that I was, not taking care of myself. I was not being good to me. And I said, I would never let another human being mistreat me ever again. That's woman, dog, cat, whatever. Like, I ain't having it. So from that day forward, I really did change my life and I never let, another man do that to me. And I was lucky enough to meet my husband. We've been married for 10 years and I'm in a healthy relationship. But we know that a lot of people still struggle with relationships, and I want to kind of talk about what some signs are of unhealthy relationships. So for me, it was the lying, right? And this person was broken. So now when I look back at it, I could see that he has so many issues, right? So again, like you talked about earlier, when you have a lot of issues within yourself, you don't love yourself, how can you love somebody else? How can you treat somebody else good when you don't even know how to treat yourself? So I think that is a major red flag, is that when you're in a relationship with someone who is struggling through life, like, you got to take a real good look and see what the future is going to hold for you with someone like that. So, what are some examples that you think are red flags for people to look out for to kind of help them make better decisions in terms of love?
So red flag is really an issue or a feeling that makes you the person on the receiving end. It triggers trauma. It triggers feeling of lawlessness. It triggers feelings of less understand or it triggers unhealthy and toxic feelings within you. Those are red flags because you've seen a similar situation like this. It may not be exactly like this because they're different people, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you've seen a situation like this that reminds you of a dark place you were once at. So therefore, this is a red flag. This is a flag that's an alarm. Like you got to be careful because this looks very similar to that.
Yes.
Now, I would always advise people back to trusting your instinct and gut, right? I think when you're healed, then you can identify red flags a lot faster.
Mm.
And when you're healed, it's never an issue to walk away from someone.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you well, right? There are a lot of unhealed people that seem like they got their shit together, that talk the talk and walk the walk, but they're not healed. And they see the red flags, but they're Captain Save a Hoe or Chick Save a Dude, and they want to be there to save somebody else. When again, we talk about self awareness and self preservation, you got to take care of you first because some people are so toxic. They will take you down to a place where you don't even know yourself. You try to figure out, where did I lose myself?
Facts.
And if you're healed, you've been through some shit that that brought you to your knees, and you know what you and you said to yourself, I would never get a
Mm-hmm.
relationship with anyone that does me this or does that to me. I would never. Then those are your red flags. And here you are in a situation seeing something very similar and you not address it. Now here, I give people the benefit of the doubt because everyone is different and everyone deals with trauma or deals with their own issues differently. I had a recent situation where I started seeing a guy and really nice guy, great on paper, great personality, like a beautiful, beautiful person. But still, I don't know this person. So I literally said to them, I'm like, listen, we're like 1 month in. Here's my prerequisite. We need to go to couples therapy. And he was like, why? Why do we need to go to couples therapy? Nothing's wrong. I'm like, that's a problem. I'm like, I don't want there to be anything wrong in the future. And you don't know my trauma that I come with, and I come with a lot. I'm being very honest. And I don't know yours because you seem to probably hide it very well. So I'd rather us have an independent person that we can see once a month because a lot of people wait till right before they get married to have premarital counseling or after they get married and see things change to then go into couples therapy. Nah, I'm not with the shit. I ain't got no time to waste. I'd rather you reveal who you are to me now than I become so invested that I find it hard to leave. And so there were a couple of things that, just it was subtle, but it was enough to trigger my spidey senses. And again, back to your spirit, your body can tell when something is wrong or not altogether right.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times we try to talk it down. We
Yes.
try to convince ourselves that, oh, that's not what it is. We try to validate. Like, you have to learn to trust your highest self. He or she is within you. We don't listen.
Mm-hmm.
And so after a month, I'm like, this person, and I'm weighing out the options, right? Well, I can stick it out. We can go to couples therapy. And I was like, fuck this shit. It's like too many people on this goddamn planet. I don't have to do this. And someone could easily look to me and say, well, you probably gave up on someone. Well, if this person is for me and it is meant for me, it will find me. In the meantime, I'm going to keep working on my best self. And I'm not going to do that with someone who I'm already doubting has my best interest at heart because I've told you on 3 occasions not to do something and you still did it. And then
Mm.
you came back and apologized and acted like it was normal. I'm not doing that. To me is abusive. It rang so loudly of, okay, then one day you might just beat me, come back and say you're sorry, and then everything goes back to normal. Nah, buddy. No, 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 no. We have to be conscious of our body. And I think back to healing. A lot of people are living with trauma and not even aware. A lot of people are leading and loving with trauma and not
Mm.
even aware, right?
Yes.
You are getting into relationships based on the fact that you guys have common trauma
Mm.
and you're thinking that's love. And so how again, and another thing, a lot of people don't want to be healed.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, you
They
know?
like the attention that they get from being broken.
Right.
They like the dysfunction and the high that they get off of being in abusive relationships.
Mm-hmm.
You have to, if you are self aware, keep yourself away from people. They are energy drainers,
Yep.
whether it's in a romantic relationship or even a co-worker setting, right? Back to self-awareness. It really, I know it sounds selfish for some people, and I had a podcast episode that said it's okay to be selfish, and I broke down what that meant.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't be of help to other people if you can't help yourself.
Yes.
And you can't teach someone to be their best self if you are not living that version of your best self. So why is it that we're always seeking to make other people better and not putting that energy and effort into ourselves first? Because if you build yourself up to be your best self, you would totally eliminate a lot of the issues and problems that your old self would find itself into, because you see life differently. You see it from heal lenses,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to always leading with trauma, as opposed to going into relationships um, seeking unhealthy things because that's your normal. When you become healed, things that were once normal are no longer normal. It repulses you.
Yes. That's why I hate liars. Don't lie to me because I don't like that. That's a red flag for me. In female friendships, like anybody, that's why I said frauds. Number one, frauds. I can't stand it because that's a trigger for me. Because I was with a fraud for a long time and it was terrible.
And it's
So
okay to give someone a pass, right? Like someone lied to you. We don't know the reason why people lie. Sometimes, that's how they grew up. It's almost like a self-protective type of thing.
mm-hmm.
People do things for different reasons based on their socialization process. But if you address with them, listen, I I I can't deal with anyone that lies to me. And I'd rather you tell me, even if it hurts me. And you gotta mean that too. There are a lot of people that say I can handle the truth and they're lying. So we deal with two sets of liars here,
Right.
right? But if you've addressed it with someone that you care about and say to them, in order for us to build on this relationship, I need you to trust me and I need to trust you. And in so doing, we really have to work on what is honesty to us, right? And what that looks like, what that feels like.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I require. Okay, so what do you require? Because it's not all about you, right? So what would make you feel comfortable to trust me enough to always tell me the truth?
Right.
Sometimes we don't create safe spaces for people to tell the truth. Let's just talk about that. Especially for our men, we always tell a man, I can handle the truth. Tell me the truth. But you never create a safe space for him to tell the truth, because when he does tell the truth, you go off on him, you belittle him, you break him down as a man. Why
Mm-hmm.
would he want to tell you the truth to have to go through that shit?
Right. That's a very valid point. Yes. I love that. Girl, I feel like this is a personal therapy session. I'm enjoying this.
I'm learning. I'm learning every day. And I tell people all the time, I don't know a lot about a lot of things, but I do know some things on some things, right? And as I learn, I try to help somebody else, because that's why we go through a lot of things we go through in life, not just for self, but to teach someone else, to
Yes.
give them a resource, to give them a word, to encourage them through. This is why you've been through a lot of the trauma you've been through, a lot of the abuse you've been through. This is why you had so many lows and failures, so that you can teach someone. And a lot of people get so caught up in selfishness that they don't want to teach anybody. Like they made it and then they pull the ladder back up. Like you got your green card, so you don't want to teach an immigrant how they can find a path to citizenship. Like it's just so fucking selfish. I
Yeah.
don't have friends like that.
That's whack. I can't. I love giving information. I love helping people to
Except your
do
cake
stuff.
lady.
But oh, you tried it. Except, listen, rest in peace, Dale. I love you. You made the best cakes. She died. I was looking for her to
Wow.
make a cake for me. I can't remember what it was for, and I couldn't find her. And I was calling her. She didn't answer. And I went and Googled, and I found out that she died. That was so sad for me. But
Wow.
yeah, that was my lady, yo. My lady. Let me have my
Well,
lady.
I have a cake lady I can share with you now, okay? I won't be like you. I'll give you my cake lady's information,
You ain't
okay?
right. Okay, Jay. Let's play a quick game of oh hell no, oh hell yes. So I'm going
Okay,
to ask you a series of questions and you tell me if this is an oh hell no or an oh hell yes. Some of them are personal to me and some
sure.
of them are not.
Okay.
So
So you
you
need some advice. All right, go ahead.
no, 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 no. Some of them already happened. So I want to see what you're going to say. All right. You get invited to a wedding. You are in a long term relationship, and the invite says J only. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell yes.
I'm in a long-term relationship.
Yeah, so you're with you have a boyfriend, you're not engaged, but you've been together for several years, and your friend invites you to her wedding, and she
My
put
friend.
your friend, or at least you think it's your friend, and
Yeah. Oh hell no.
okay,
Like yeah. Oh hell no. Like come on now. Yeah. No. No.
yeah,
If you're my friend and we've been friends for years and I've been in a long term relationship for years, you're basically saying you don't want my man there. And I personally would not be in a relationship with a man that's not good to me. So yeah, it's a oh hell no. Keep your
that's what
fucking
I
invite.
said.
Bye.
Yeah, that's what I said too. We don't speak no more.
Get out of here. Marriage not even gonna last anyway. Go ahead.
Oh,
Next.
yeah, they divorced.
Yeah, next.
All right. You want to change professions and your husband is against it and forbids you to move forward with that. Oh hell no, oh hell yes, or oh
That can
hell.
never be my husband, so that's definitely a oh hell no. Like get come on girl, next.
Oh my god. That didn't
Oh,
happen to
is
me.
that an episode of Married to Medicine or something?
Right,
Like,
right, right. That did happen on that. But I
yep.
just sometimes you have men that are very stuck in whatever's working for them and when
I
you
don't know those men.
yeah,
No,
well,
next.
girl,
Just
Jesus
don't know those
Christ.
men.
All
And
right,
if
all
you are
right.
if you are a woman who is very progressive and who is, pursuing life in a full throttle and want the best for herself, and you find yourself in a relationship with a man who starts trying to dumb you down, make you feel insecure because you make more money than him or you are more pursuing more goals than him, sis,
Yeah.
sis. No amount of dick or cute looking guy is worth that shit. You work too hard to get where you're at to lose all that for some chump. All right, stop it. Next.
Yep. Mm-mm. And that's not me, y'all, because I got like 6 jobs. My man supports me. Okay. Your husband goes to a strip club to celebrate his boy's birthday. Oh hell no. Oh hell yes.
Oh hell yes, I'm secure with my guy. Like I know, I trust him.
Yes, I like the strip club too. Okay. Uh,
Like he's not leaving with them. Like
no,
nah, we cool.
yeah, yeah, I agree. Every time you meet up with Kate, she talks about herself and her man for the entire lunch. Oh hell no or oh hell yes.
Who the fuck is Kate? Oh hell no, bye. Kate probably has some issues that she's masking by telling us all these goddamn stories, trying to create this perfect life. When in fact, Kate is probably going through hell.
Oh my
Okay,
god. Girl, you are
listen.
so on point. I can't take it. You invite you invite Jen to your bridal shower. She RSVPs, doesn't show up and doesn't call.
Is Jen dead or alive? Because
Yeah,
there
she's
must have been
alive.
something really important for her to not communicate. Back to effective and honest communication. Oh hell no, bye.
Yeah, that happened. That's gonna be on my renewal episode, y'all. Okay. Um, you
Did
have
did you see her after?
listen. I called her because I knew that her daughter was pregnant, and so I'm like, maybe something happened. So I left messages. I called. I text. Nothing.
Did you see her anytime after that?
No, I have not seen her. I have not. I've because
Is
tried
she
to.
alive?
Yes, she's definitely alive because I saw her on social media.
Okay, fuck Jen. Bye.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Get the
not
hell out of here.
that's
I
not a
hate people like that.
right,
It's so annoying.
right. Ugh. All right. This is
I'd
a
rather you just own it and say, listen, I really didn't want to come. Own it. Own it. Own it.
right,
Own it.
right. That's my thing too. I can
I would
take
respect you a lot
honesty.
more.
Yes, just say, you know what? I feel uncomfortable coming. She had RSVP'd and she asked if she could bring a guest, and my sister said no, and then she just didn't show up,
She
and then
got in her feelings. That's unfair. That's really like you're bringing a guest that we don't know to something that's very intimate and private, like a bridal shower. You
right,
can't be offended by that.
yeah,
You cannot. Just like you can't be offended if you ask to bring a guest to a wedding and we say no. We pay per plate, lady.
right.
Are you kidding me? Bye.
Bye. Oh God. You have been in a long-term relationship. You are happy, but you want to get married, but your boyfriend says, "No, I'm good." Oh hell no. Oh hell yes.
Oh hell no, because he wouldn't be my boyfriend. We would have spoken about this way in advance in terms of our intentions, and my intention would be to for marriage. So
But
if you saying oh hell no now, if you saying like no, you're not ready, no, it's not happening.
but that
No,
but isn't that a hard one though? Because let's say
no, it's
he's
not.
good to you, you guys have a great
No, it's not.
relationship, but he just
No, it's not.
no, it's
No,
not.
it's not. It's not a hard one. Let's stop doing that to women. I think a lot of women, great expectations, right? Like you get into a situation. This is why effective and honest communication is necessary from the beginning to quell any kind of great expectations or great disappointment. If I know that in the long run I want to be married, I'm going to have this discussion with this guy ahead of time and say, listen, I know we're going to be dating, but I'm just letting you know. Long term, I want to get married. If that's not in your future, let me know because I don't want to waste my time. I don't want you to waste my time. And I don't want to grow resentful towards you by
Mm,
feeling like you led me on, knowing that my intention in life is to be married. I don't want to. So if you know marriage is not in your future, let me go. We could be friends. I said that to my ex husband, and he was okay with it. I'm like, listen, I have a baby girl. We could date, but I'm dating for marriage. If you just want to date to be fuck buddies, let me know. We could organize. Maybe I consider it, but I'm literally letting you know that I'm dating for marriage. Talking up front to your partner, do you want to have children? That could be a first date type of fucking conversation,
yeah.
because later on when you want to have kids, they already told you from jump, I don't want to have kids. Now you feel like, well, we've been together so long that I could probably convince them to change their mind. They said they didn't want to have kids. Why do people do that? You set your own self up for disappointment. Listen to when people talk.
This is true, but listen. When I met my husband, he didn't want to have kids. He didn't want to get married. And although I waited 7 years, because I was gonna leave at the seventh year, but
That's a long ass time. God bless you.
he caught me. The seventh year, I really was gonna leave, but then we
I
decided
mean,
to. He
after
was
the
finally.
second year, I would have been gone, but it
I
took you
can't.
seven. Go ahead. Okay, you got a lot of patience.
I know, but I was a lot younger. But now I probably wouldn't have that patience. And I had gotten to a point where I was like, you know what, I'm gonna leave this relationship because I want to have a baby, and I'm getting older, and my eggs are getting dry. Like I need to leave, like seriously. And then that year, his grandfather was ill, and his grandfather, had a conversation with him about having a family and, doing these things. And it changed his life, which changed our life.
Right.
So, and we've been married, we've been happy, whatever, but it's just like one of those things. But what you're saying is right. It's true. But he has said that up front. Like, I don't want to have kids. And I think that only people who have children should get married. So if we're not having children, why would we need to get married? Right? That was his thought process. And he was very clear about that up front. So what you're saying is facts. I didn't listen. I still got into but at the time, I wasn't even interested in having another child because I have a child. I have a son from my dysfunctional relationship. And, at the time I was like, I'm never having any more kids and I don't want to get married. So I was good with that. But as time went on, and I fell in love and I was with this man and he was so different and good and nice and sweet and all of that stuff, my heart started to soften towards, ooh, maybe I could have another baby. Maybe things would be different. Maybe I want to get married, right? So I say all of that to say that, things change. So
Mm,
I don't know, but I
mm,
feel I feel what you're saying.
mm. I have no comment on this. Let's move on because you married.
Yeah,
Let's just move
I
on
can't.
because this is your show. Come on my show. I'm gonna give you my real thoughts.
No, you said you was gonna keep it real, Jay. Don't play.
Do you guys go to couples therapy?
No, we don't go to couples therapy.
Maybe you should start.
No, she didn't.
Yeah, I no seriously. You should, because life changes and people change,
Mm-hmm.
but you also want to be on the same. You want to make sure not only you're on the same path, but you're headed in the same direction,
Yes.
right? And I'm not saying that you need couples therapy because something's wrong, Couples therapy should never be seen as the fixer to problems only. It should also be a proactive activity for strengthening a relationship. All right. If you're not afraid of anything, it should be a non-issue. Go to couples therapy. And if you're with a certain type of man, they'd be like, we don't need therapy, we're fine. I would say that's a red flag. If I'm saying I want to say just go to couples therapy because there's some things I want to address and I know we're good, but would you go with me once a month? Just try it. You would be amazed at some of the things that will come up if people are being honest. Because a lot of times people put on their best faces when they go to therapy. But you might want to consider it. Next.
Listen, I don't have any problems going to couples therapy. I like therapy. I think therapy is good.
Would
So
he?
I think he would. I
Okay,
really
let's
do.
remind me about this, okay?
I will. I remind you about this. I'm gonna go to couples therapy and then I'm coming on in my head. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So let's go back to before I get your oh hell no moments. I want to know what we initially started off this conversation talking about with sometimes people, act like they cool with you, but they're not, and that whole thing. How I discovered you.
Mhm.
I'm I'm just shocked.
Me too. I was shocked too.
Wow.
I was shocked too. Yeah, okay.
So maybe they just discovered you
Fuck out
too.
of here.
Oh, okay. No, that's not it. All right.
Bullshit.
All right.
Yeah,
We
whatever.
we gonna leave that until I come on in my head.
Yeah, I just want people to be their true authentic self. These people are not my friends and they don't like me. And so when I saw that they posted me, you notice they never posted me anywhere else. Like I could literally say I have one of the realest and most trending Caribbean podcasts out there right now.
Mm.
It was buried in the mix of like Caribbean podcasters. You should like female, whatever. I saw the post. That was it.
Wow.
Um, and these are people that actually know me. One of them know me personally. She used to be one of my dearest friends that would come to my home, right?
OMG.
So, so, and this is the first time I've ever spoken about it publicly. Like, how can you have an issue with me and not tell me to my face? And you are like one of my sisters.
But you see, this goes back to what we talked about with people not being honest about, you broke it
Listen,
down
I don't
good.
care
I know.
because I did my part. I reached out. I did everything possible. And then if you're doing again, if you're doing the work to save a friendship that you don't even know is dying or you didn't even know you did something wrong and you're doing the work because you value this so much and the other party is not participating, they're not engaging, walk away. Walk away. Cut your losses because anyone that values you and see the work that you're doing to save, especially when you're not even sure what the fuck you did, so they're not even saying anything. Walk away. That person had an issue with you before you even knew, before this even came up. And it has nothing to do with you, really. Sometimes it's people's own insecurities that show their faces. And this all stemmed from me starting a podcast.
Girl.
So a lot of people are happy for you until you start doing things that they think is a threat to what they're doing. And I was very,
Mm.
very conscious about what I chose to do as a podcast because easily I could just interview people, carrying people for just like on an entertainment level. But that's something that my quote unquote sister was doing. So I'm like, nah, I won't do that. I will do what I like doing most, talk about mental health.
Yeah, that's so different. That's different.
I have published shared her podcast. I talked about her podcast. She has never even featured me on her podcast in a year, and this is my sister.
Girl, listen.
Listen, listen, and never once has she even listened to my podcast, shared my podcast, left a comment on nothing. So yeah, you will know them by their works, my beloved.
I
There are people
know.
in your circle right now who you check for, who you love on, and who are secretly holding things against you that you are not even aware. And they're waiting for an opportunity to say, hey, you see, I didn't want to be friends with you after all because look at, and you're like, where is this coming from?
Mm-hmm. It's
Beware
true.
of people like that. And it's okay. It's okay when they walk away. Like I heard about it. I cried about it. I'm like, I'm over it. Like I know I'm a good person. So
Yeah.
I know that I did my part and I would do my part. But when you pull away from that, and this is another thing that I'm very careful about relationships. Anything that's said in a relationship is sacred. When a relationship has died or has run its course, you do not take what was said in a relationship and discuss it with other people.
True.
Fuck you.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Was that that your oh hell no moment?
That was my fucking oh hell no. You don't do that. You do not do that. You do not do that. You do
Yes.
not do that. That means all along the relationship wasn't as sacred as the other person believed it was. You don't do that. You
Yeah.
bury it. You bury everything that came with it like a time capsule. You put everything in a little capsule, you bury it in the earth. That is sacred. It is private. It was a moment in history and you leave it there. You don't take bits and pieces of that to strengthen a conversation or strengthen another friendship by breaking down somebody else or discussing their personal business or personal failures or that is evil.
Yeah, that's not right. No, that is not right. I agree with that. I don't do that. Nope. I don't even want
But
to
how
touch.
does that make you look in the long run? I
Yeah,
can't trust you.
that's whack. Because
And
if
neither should your friend.
yeah, because if you're doing that to that person, like if me and you fall out, it's going to be the same thing. Like don't think you're an exception. Like no, you're not. It's just like when people come to you and they tell you stuff, right? And you're listening and you're hearing, right? Be careful and know that if you share with them, they're going to tell somebody your stuff too. So, you just got to be careful of what you share.
Listen. Next.
Well, listen, my oh hell no is with relationships is any form of abuse. If I catch a funny vibe from you, if you want to try to silent treat me, passive aggressiveness, all of that is a oh hell no for me, and that we're done. Like, mm-mm. So those are the things that I just can't deal with, and I'm not gonna deal with in my life. So those are my oh hell no's.
I agree. I don't like I think because I'm such a like an extroverted person, passive aggression really rubs me the very wrong way. So does sarcasm.
Yeah.
Sarcasm has a place, right? I think when people start using sarcasm in relationships, it comes up to me personally as offensive. Like say what you really mean. Don't use sarcasms, don't use subliminals. Say what you really mean and say it with your chest. Own your shit. Own your
Mm-hmm.
truth. Like what is it that you really want to say without trying to mask it as comedy? Or mask it as like trying to put out like subs. Like don't do that.
Right.
What is your truth? And if you can't tell me to my face how you really feel and decide to mask it or pretty it up, then nah, keep it.
Right. Keep it 100. It's easy, you
Oh,
know?
keep it to your goddamn self and keep moving.
Or do
The
that.
hell. You gotta be gangster. You know why? You only have a short period of time in life. And if you cannot be investing your emotional currency into people and things that are draining to you or that do not give you a return on your investment. When you come to a place of healing and you see how valuable your time is, your energy is, the essence of who you are, how valuable that is, then you will learn how to expend that in places that it will thrive and it'll become better, that you will become better, that you will feel better, and the people around you will feel the same way. If you start investing too much of your emotional currency into people and things that drain you or deplete you or take a lot more withdrawals that they make deposits, then come on. You're doing this shit to yourself. And we gotta be so grown in this life that we learn how to manage our money well and learn how to manage our emotional currency better. Life is too short. We got no time for nonsense.
That is
Sorry.
true. No, I like the rants, girl. I like it. It keeps the shit lit. Yeah.
I can't, Nicole. I can't. It keeps the shit lit.
That's right. I like it like that. All right. Well, this was an amazing episode with Jay Blessed.
Yay!
Yes, honey, she is blessed.
I went on a rant today.
Right? I
had a
love
lot
it.
to say.
No, I love it because I'm passionate about this subject too, and people think I'm crazy, but I think, listen, you're not getting my cake lady's number, but we can share Jay's cake lady, and that's it.
Well, you know what? Your cake lady is no longer around, so you're
Right.
gonna need to ask somebody for their cake lady's number. I hope they're willing to give it to you.
No, honey, I search for my own things because I don't need to go find what everybody else doing because I like to be unique. Okay? So,
Okay, mom. No problem.
right. Okay, I'm not gonna come and be like, "Oh, Jay have this nice cake. Oh, Jay, give me the number to the people and you make."
But Jay's not going to tell the world that she gave you her cake lady's number. You see, you got to be wary of people like that too. Well, you know how she get that cake? I give she that cake. You know how she got that bag? I bought her that bag. You know she got that
Oh,
dress? I gave her that
yes.
dress. Come on,
Oh
man.
God, that too. Nope. That's why I don't even want to. So I
I understand.
try to find my own way. There's nothing wrong with that.
I understand.
Yes. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
You're very welcome.
We learned today that successful relationships require communication, respect, time, commitment, self-awareness, compromise, therapy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
All of the above and some. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and please be sure to check out Jay on her own podcast,
Yay.
right? In My Head, and you're on all platforms, right? I mean,
All platforms and soon to be on Pandora.
Yes, and you can
So
follow
Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, everywhere. Or you can just go to jbless.com. Everything is right there.
Yes, and she did a great blog recently about the Conscience drama. Conscience, the dance hall reggae artist. He has some drama pop off with him and his wife, and he posted this whole open letter type thing. And Jay did an amazing blog about it, so you guys should go and check it out because it's very good.
Yeah, these people, they need fucking therapy.
Don't they? Yes, they do. But you told me I need therapy too, so let me go call my therapist and book my appointment.
We all need therapy, and and this is not meant. Before we close, I want to just highlight that once you have a brain and a heart, and you use them every single day of your life, you're gonna need therapy, and it's okay. It's just like vitamins, right? Some people can live without vitamins, but if you take vitamins, you get that added support. For things that you didn't even think you were deficient in, right? Therapy is something that everyone needs. Every single person needs therapy. Trust me.